The global paint giant made its first presentation to the city of Cleveland today while discussing plans for what will be the fourth tallest building in Cleveland and the sixth tallest in the state of Ohio.
We've also learned how this future development could also help link parts of our city. News 5's John Kosick beginning our in-depth team coverage tonight with a look at the big plans for this historic building around Public Square.
Yeah, and you heard a phrase there in the cold open, planting a flag. We heard it several times today, and that's something that Sherwin-Williams is looking to do, make a statement with the headquarters that will be here on these parking lots in downtown, something that will be transformational for the city. Sherwin-Williams has called Cleveland home for 155 years, and with this project, company leaders say they plan to make it their home for the next 155. Presenting their vision of that to a group meeting of the city commissions that need to sign off on the plans, the global paint giant revealed their new 36-story, 616-foot office tower with a 2-story learning and development pavilion to the east on Public Square, connected by a sky bridge. Pointing to similar projects in other cities, they say this will be a catalyst for economic growth all around downtown.
This project represents an amazing opportunity, not just for Sherwin-Williams, but for the city of Cleveland.
The size and scale of the tower, the biggest part of the project, which still has no final design, was not an issue for the Design Review Advisory Committee, which saw a couple of rough ideas of what it could look like. What was an issue for some was the 2-story pavilion, a building that was called Sherwin-Williams' front door, as well as Public Square's front porch. One member taking issue with the decision to put it right next to the square.
It's the most important property, as it was pointed out, possibly in the United States, to fill in a missing tooth. It's incredibly important, and I'm just very disappointed that it's a 2-story semi-public but mostly not pavilion.
The architects explaining the decision not to put the main tower on Public Square was out of deference to Terminal Tower, showing what it would look like if they didn't.
You can start to see, I would say in particular, sort of the tension between 50 Public Square and Terminal Tower. And by pulling it back like we have, it gives that relief.
In the end, the joint meetings gave their conceptual blessing to the pavilion and tower, but asking they look at making the pavilion bigger and study the idea of providing public access to the pavilion roof for views of the square. And another view, when you take a look at the parking lot that will house the main tower, is a pedestrian bridge that will go from that lot across West 3rd Street to here where the pavilion will be on this particular parking lot. The architect, though, pointing out they won't take people off the street for this because the people that will be using that tower back and forth, that pedestrian bridge, they've already passed through security and are already inside the building. So this was the conceptual design. What's going to come up next is schematic design. That's when we get an idea and see what it's actually going to look like. That's going to happen in September. If all goes as planned, we'll have final approval late November. Reporting live in downtown Cleveland, John Kosick, News 5.
All right, thanks for breaking that all down for us, John. And it will be years before Sherwin-Williams' plans actually become a reality for downtown Cleveland.
Right, but in this News 5 original, Kevin Berry continues our in-depth coverage with a look at how nearby projects are already getting ready for it.
When LaToya Flowers needs a break from her classes in the campus district, she ends up near Terminal Tower, where the view could eventually look a lot different.
It may be good for business.
Sherwin-Williams' proposed headquarters could add another tower to Public Square, shifting thousands of workers even closer to LaToya's favorite lunch spots and changing the skyline.
It's gonna basically be tight on like traffic and parking and whatnot. It'll take up some more space, but it should bring some exciting things to the city.
But Kent State Urban Design Collaborative's Terry Schwartz says the impact will be felt horizontally, not just vertically.
It isn't that huge of a distance, but it feels like it is just because of the, kind of the empty spaces. You're walking across the parking lot prairie.
But, she says, a series of new buildings in Phase 1 with a chance for more future development and ground-level retail will fill in that prairie, better linking Public Square to the warehouse district.
Plus you put all these employees and such right in the middle of that space, so people might go to lunch in the warehouse district or they might jump on the train at Public Square.
It's a neighborhood connection nearby projects are already banking on. 75 Public Square will have 100 apartments up top and 2 commercial retail spots on the ground floor right on Public Square across the intersection from the new Sherwin-Williams headquarters.
It's going to help anchor this corner, as will Sherwin-Williams, who is building their headquarters directly next door to 75 Public Square.
A few feet away, 55 Public Squares being redeveloped into new office space and more residential units, but with a new restaurant too. The cherry on top is that the pavilion planned for the lot across the street won't block the building out.
This building in front of us will only be 2 stories, or approximately 2 stories, according to what I've seen. So 55 keeps its real high profile on the square.
In Cleveland, I'm Kevin Barry, News 5.